What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful Podcast. Thanks for joining us on this Monday evening. Tomorrow, the cut down day, 4 p.m. Eastern. The Dolphins got to get down to the final 53. They've already been active and busy today, making some cuts, some surprise cuts. Not to us. If you listen to our post-game show, we had one of them called, actually two of them called. So we're going to break all that down. We also we'll take a look at the cuts. We'll also take a look at Mike McDaniel. Had some news today, his press conference, some injury updates. We'll get into all that. And, of course, thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, little bell, subscribe button. Help keep supporting us here on the Fins Faithful Podcast. We continue to bring you guys the best possible Miami Dolphins content we can. All right, enough of me talking. Of course, I'm always joined by my co-host, Jason Sarney. But we also have a special guest, new to the team, making his debut, Jacob Lehman. Jacob, you'll see Jacob on post-game occasionally and on other things. Jacob, welcome aboard. Welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. Excited to get into it.
Let's do it. Of course, we're going to be live debating the final 53-man. Jason is in charge, of course, of the numbers and the tracker. He's got everything ready to go, and we'll kind of debate. There is some tough decisions and tough cuts.
Indeed.
Shout out to the chat already. We got Kosa. Kenny, hit that thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Caps in the house. Pull up a seat, guys. Join us. This is going to be a fun one. We enjoyed our first initial 53, and we were waiting to do our final one. Here it is today. All right, let's start off with some of the news from the day. Let's go through the cuts real quick. Mike Hilton, the corner, was cut. Ethan Robertson, the corner, was cut. Tight end Farrell Brown and Chris Myrick were cut. Offensive lineman Jackson Carman, Jalen McKenzie, Addison West, Mason Brooks, wide receiver A.J. Henning, defensive tackle Ben Stilley, running backs Mike Boone and Aaron Shamplin, two guys they just recently had picked up, and also Cam Dancer was cut. So that was a total of about 13. All right, we'll start with you, Jason. Of that list, obviously two guys that stand out were Mike Hilton, Farrell Brown. You know me, I was a proponent. I went back and watched them all 22 today, specifically in the offensive line and the edge rushers. And that, I wasn't a big fan of what I saw from Farrell Brown. I know we need a blocking tight end, but in this offense, they asked their tight ends to do a lot as far as blocking. And there's a certain level of athleticism you even have to have. Like Julian Hill, like him or not, is a decent athlete for a tight end, even though he's purely a blocker. I just didn't see it out of Farrell Brown. You just looked like a declining player, real slow. I know some people said he had a good camp. I never saw it. He was somebody I targeted to being cut. I mentioned on the post-game show. Some people thought I was crazy. But and he also gave up that sack when he kind of couldn't hold the edge rusher, and James Daniels was kind of late getting there. So the sack was more probably on Farrell Brown. So Hilton and Brown, the surprises. Your thoughts on those guys that surprised you and anybody else, Jason?
Well, first and foremost, welcome to Jacob Lehman. I'm thrilled that he's going to be joining us now and throughout the season. One of my favorite people in this community and really the world. I'm very, very excited for him. So welcome, Jacob. And as for the cuts today, the Mike Hilton scenario, kind of the writing was on the wall with Jason Marshall Jr. getting that dress rehearsal start at the nickel and the glowing comments that everyone's been saying about his performance as a nickel. So I was kind of toying on my last projection to just leave Hilton off, put Cam Smith on, but it was an expendable scenario with Hilton, so not really overly surprised there. Farrell Brown, you made a great point. It was either him or Julian Hill, so they're obviously going with Julian Hill. They love Julian Hill. They love him. I know a lot of us get tired of some of the penalties and whatnot, but the organization loves him. He's looking to be on the squad. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens with either Tanner Connor in the tight end room, with Hayden Rucci. Those are two candidates who maybe both can be squeezed on. But it's going to start getting a lot tougher in the next, 19, 20 hours here. So, all systems go, ready to kind of predict what we think is going to happen the rest of the way. And let's have some fun.
Well, yeah, we're going to debate live on here.
Let's have fun.
Yeah, let's have fun. Jacob, get ready. It's your first show, but no pressure.
You might have to be a tiebreaker. You might have to
be the tiebreaker, Jason. Jacob. I got Jason and Jacob. This is going to be tough. Jason, either one of you guys, I know I can't kick. Can you guys kick?
I can try.
I can hold.
Jason will be the holder.
I might kick a finger.
All right. So, Jacob, any of those surprises cut you? Were you surprised by Brown and Hilton? And we'll talk about the reason why Hilton with the emergence of Jason Marshall Jr. And I saw somebody mention Hayden Rucci in here. Yeah, I watched him. He blocked really well in last game. So we'll see if we can fit him on there. That's one of the guys to watch out for. Any surprises for you, Jacob?
For me, it was Ethan Robinson. I really thought that he was going to be kind of back-end cornerback, but I thought he would have been on the roster. He had names brought up several times during camp, making several plays during camp, and then, of course, the game sealing it against the Lions in preseason. I thought that was a really strong showing. Maybe they're hoping that he clears and goes to the practice squad for something he can, elevate. I don't know if the things with Mike Hilton is totally done with the Dolphins. I know Omar Kelly had mentioned a while ago that he thought it was odd how Hilton was getting used, that they might cut him and try to bring him back, after the fact. So might not be Mike Hilton's last day in Miami, but we'll see. I mean, just as you said, when you have an incumbent step up like that, it gets really exciting. You want to see what he does, and he has to be on the field in order for us to see that.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh Brown is disappointing. I was really excited about him as a perspective as a wide tight end. Obviously, such a weak point for the team last year. I was hoping it was him, but maybe the development of Hill and Connor will be sufficient. And Ollie Gordon seems to be doing pretty okay in pass pro, so we'll see.
Yeah, good point you bring up. Yeah, the rest of the guys, nobody else really surprised me on that list.
Right.
Those are all. Yep. Robinson may be surprised that he was the part of the initial first cuts. I didn't expect him to make it. I think he's definitely, as you mentioned, Jacob, somebody they're targeting for the practice squad. And we got to see if the UDFA streak continues, Jason. It's up in the air.
It's one of my favorite sub-stories, and a lot of people know that. And obviously it started back in 2019 with guys like Preston Williams, Nick Needham, skipped over a year, and then you look at guys like Tanner Connor, Ethan Bonner, Andrew Mayer throughout the last couple of years, to name a few. We like to root for these guys. Me particularly, I'm an underdog story kind of guy. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great thing or it's a horrible thing if teams are consistently bringing on an undrafted, but it's certainly a fun sub-story.
Yeah, agreed. It's a little might be a little more difficult this year than in years past with the UDFAs. All right, let's get into some Mike McDaniel. First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. It's cooking tonight already. Thank you so much. Everybody, thumbs up. Come on over to YouTube. If you're watching anywhere else, just come on over to YouTube. Join the chat. Hang out with us. It's going to be fun, especially when we get into the 53. So pull up a chair. Any Adam Vinant? Anyone have? Jason, you might be the closest to have that number. Do you have it?
I mean, lucky number 7. I would love to don
Lindo Mari's number anywhere.
I would love to don the Sanders Sarney 7 and try to sneak my way out to the field, but my kicking days are really never were, and you don't want me out there.
Okay. All right. So some of the news that happened today that McDaniel went over, just quickly, injury stuff. Sanders out 4 to 5 weeks. We'll talk about that. They're going to be auditioning for a kicker, like 305 Sports Babe said. Kenneth Grant, good news. No issues. Should be ready week 1. Good to hear that. Jalen Wright, again, update. He's definitely out week 1. They're going to have to add to that room. Not sure how much longer than that. Maybe a few weeks. Wasn't really specific. Austin Jackson, good, is still on timeline as of today to return week 1, which they really need him. And he did mention Cam Smith progressing a lot. So, guys, I don't know. Cam Smith might have made his way on this team. We'll get into that. Anything stand out there, Jacob, that McDaniel's news? Any good news, right, on the injury front for Kenneth Grant at least?
It's nice that we're probably going to get Grant and probably going to get HN. I mean, that one still seems pretty questionable, right? And that one I feel like is kind of the one I'm most worried about right now, particularly with Wright, having they did say he was going to be out for week 1.
Yeah,
was that right? Yeah. So, you've got HN and Ollie Gordon behind, so if HN's questionable and they're trying to limit rest, you were looking at OG3. But, while the 2 new running backs that were signed on for the preseason were cut kind of as expected is also a show of faith that they believe in OG3 or OG2. Sorry.
Yeah. And I just, they're definitely going to add in that room. I think we're going to talk about, before we get into it, the roster gymnastics that's confusing of how things can work. But I think that's one position they're going to swing back up on the waiver wire. Or maybe even one of these guys, like a Champlin, they release, can pick up later on in the week. We'll explain to you how that. What about you, Jason? Anything stand out with the news today of those with the grand injury? Obviously, Sanders, Jackson being on the timeline, and the positive Cam Smith talk. Anything stand out to you there?
Well, I think we'll be okay with HN. Thankfully, Kenneth Grant's all right. The Sanders thing stings because, and I think, could I read the Barry Jackson explanation of the IR before we get going? Just he does a great job. Barry Jackson. Yeah,
I have the article if you want, or you want to just read it.
You know what? We'll put it up there, and everyone could read it at their leisure if you already have it ready to go.
Yeah.
But he does a great job, Miami Herald writer Barry Jackson, of basically saying the mechanisms that the Dolphins, his word, could do to take care of these players who are hurt, whether it's IR right before or
there's 2 paragraphs specifically that I think let's just bring it up. I
bring it on up.
Give people it's sometimes very hard to understand, but all right. So if we don't need to read all of it. Go all the way down to the bottom, right? I think the league. Or Jason,
league rules.
Yeah.
If you want to scroll down, it's a little bit, and
it's on the second page. We'll start.
I
here.
got you.
Yeah, look at the bottom. The bottom league rules permit teams to place 2 players on injury reserve on Tuesday while counting them on their 53-man roster while preserving their ability to return as early as week 5. So what that's saying is 2 guys you can take, basically free roster spots, designate them on the IR. They don't count as a 53. Which 2? That's up to the Dolphins. Unfortunately, the Dolphins have about 6 guys that there's a gray area. Meyer, Bonner, Davis, Trader, etc. Right? Who we don't quite know. We know some won't be ready week 1, but we don't know if they're going to be out 3, 4 weeks, the season, 6 weeks. We don't quite know. It's a gray area. So they got to pick those 2 players. They don't have to 53 them. They can kind of stash them, and they're eligible to return as early as week 5. Now, second part, which this is where the roster gymnastics are going to come in to play here. All right. League rules also permit teams to place injured players on their 53 men, move them to injured reserve later in the week with the ability to bring them back as early as week 5. Basically, it means is they can take Andrew Meyer and Bonner and all these guys, roster them. They have to make their 53, but later in the week they can put them on reserve, then use that spot maybe to circle back on a running back later in the week that they need, or depth at corner. Does that sound about right, Jason? You kind of want to sum it up here?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
2. So basically, 2 free rosters, 2 roster spots. Don't count against the 53. They can pick whatever 2 guys they want. IR. It's basically 2 spots free. But after that, the injured guys got to be rostered in the initial 53, and then later in the week you can stash them back on the IR with the ability to come back week 5 and make some moves. So, for example, the initial 53 we're going to play with today, we know they're probably going to go on the IR on later in the week, some of these guys, but we're only going to choose 2 guys to put on the IR and then, roster the other guys because that's what the Dolphins are going to do. But what we're saying is later on in the week, you're going to see some of these guys go on the IR and then bring other guys in. So it's going to be complicated. We just kind of want to give you that before we start on the show. All right. So what do you say, guys? Should we start the 53?
Let's name those 2 IR guys right off the bat. So,
okay, Jason, you go ahead.
I think that for this purpose, the 2 guys that are going to start on the IR are the guys that are projected to have the longer injuries, not necessarily including Jason Sanders. So let's call it Andrew Meyer and Ashton Davis as the 2 free IR spots. And that's going to be indicative of the build.
So we're going to put those, and that's going to open up a spot at each position. Dolphins could go another route, but those are the 2 guys we're going to pick. Just
for argument's sake.
It's the cleanest way, right?
Yes.
All right. You boys ready to debate? Everybody get some more thumbs. George is a special teams coach. All right, everybody give a thumbs up. Give us some more likes. We're going to start here battling out on the debating on the final 53. Here we go. All right, so we're starting off with the quarterbacks. Jacob, no argument here, right? Jason, Jacob, your thoughts quickly on the quarterbacks.
You have to have 3 going into it, and these are the 3. I mean, this is probably the simplest, most straightforward direction or room on the team.
Yeah, I mean, they could keep. I mean, ideally they could keep 2 if they wanted to, but Quinn Ewers has been too good. Actually, I think he eventually is going to unseat Wilson here pretty soon. Jason, no argument here, right?
No argument here. I think it's 3. You got to do it with the injury risk and the $6 million attached to Zach Wilson and the, I guess, the development and potential of Ewers. They're going to probably most likely have those 3 on.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need to spend much more time on Quinn Ewers. Yes. I called out. He makes the 53-man roster. Yeah, we know that.
Shout out Jonathan.
All right. Running backs. Okay, so Jalen Wright most likely won't be ready week 1. We say, we know he won't be ready week 1. So we're gonna have to roster him initially, like we said. We already used the 2 IR spots. So it's gonna be player X eventually that swings back here and takes his spot. But the point is here, they're gonna keep 3 running backs and a fullback. Jason, you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there was any sniff of 1 or 2 guys being added, they would not have dropped today Aaron Shamklin or Mike Boone. So they could probably bring him back practice squad or maybe go on the waivers, as you mentioned, the player X. But they could start off with this 4, including in gold.
Yeah, this is a position they will definitely be circling on the waiver wire looking for. Jacob.
Yeah, I expect you see at least 1 waiver pickup, if not another vet brought in, depending on who, how many people you end up having to put on IR, of course.
Yeah.
So this is the 4 for sure that are going in, but there's at least going to be 1 more.
Yeah, we're basically somebody's going to replace right there.
Or you start using Kenneth Grant as a fullback. I don't know.
Shades of Christian Wilkins. I like that.
Exactly.
Jacob coming in strong in the first episode. I don't hate that in goal line situations, actually.
Me neither.
Yeah, but the point being here is going to be three running backs and a fullback. Somebody will be replacing Jalen Wright, but he's got to initially, if he's not IR, one of the 2 IR spots, he's got to initially make it. But we'll put 4 running back, fullback. I think we're both all in agreement.
I think my final thoughts on running back is just prayers to Madison getting healthy. I mean, what a bummer, especially after the training camp he had, and I mean he was going to make it, right? He was going to make that roster looking at as he was playing, but it's a bummer.
Jonathan, my name and Ollie Gordon in the same sentence. I don't care what comes out there. I'm happy with the comparison. He's got a little more speed and power than I do, but yeah, thank you, Jonathan. All right, wide receivers. This one is interesting, right? I think we all know the top 4 guys are locks. So, Jason, you're going to put the 4 locks. Question is, do they keep 5 or do they keep 6? I'm going to ask you guys this. We're going to put the 4 locks, how Jason and I do it. We put the locks and he'll give us how many we have, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of put the pieces together to fill the final ones. Question is, whether it's 5 or 6, out of the 5th spot, who do you guys like more? Because I think there's an argument Washington over Eskridge lately. I'm going to go with you, Jacob. Eskridge or Washington if you're keeping 5? If you're keeping 5, which one do you prefer?
If I'm keeping 5, I'm keeping Washington.
Okay.
He's shown enough, and he's young, and he needs the playing time to get better. And that 5th roster spot is the perfect spot, I think, for him to fill in there. It's tough cutting Eskridge, and I don't think they keep 5.
Yeah. We might lean towards 6, but I just want to know if there's 5, who do you prefer? Yep. Jason Sarni.
This is a very big, tough one. This is probably the biggest one person or other toughest scenario. I'm going to say Taj Washington because of his ability to move after the catch. The Dolphins really covet that. And you could get away with having other people on the return aspect, maybe both Washington brothers, Malik and Taj. they're not brothers. I'm just joking. But I really was impressed with the way Taj was handling himself as a receiver, especially after the catch. So we're talking like that much of a difference right now. But we'll get back to if we officially have 6 or 5. But I'm going to put Taj millimeter over D. Eskridge right now.
If I may, I think what to me the tiebreaker is I think Taj Washington has just a little bit more time on task than D. Eskridge in this system. And I think that might also get him into that.
Well, I think two things. I think another thing, Greer loves his draft picks. So he was a draft pick. I think Eskridge's advantage will be special teams and returning game, but unless you want Malik doing that. But we might have, any love for Theo Weiss here. I think the reason I like Theo, I don't think he gets on. I think he's a top practice squad candidate, but I love his size in a different element. They need to develop a big wide receiver. Him and Armstrong, if they can get both on there. And speaking of, Beach said NWI, has he had a good camp? He's been not great, right? Red zone stuff, he's been really good.
Blocking.
Kind of been visible a little bit in the passing game. Malik's kind of taken over. Taj is kind of taken over. He makes it because of the financial commitment, and they don't have any big receivers. And I think they want to give him time to kind of accommodate himself to this offense. But, yeah, he hasn't had the best of camp. But right now we got 4 locks, pretty much 5 locks, but which one? And then we'll come back and see if we're going to keep the 6.
Do we think they keep 7?
No.
That would be too tough.
They've done that before, though. Haven't they done that before, dude?
They've had 4, 5, and 6, but maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, something. I remember one weird year.
Yeah, this is a very tough call.
All right. Tight ends. Well, we had the Pharaoh Brown news. A guy who I said I ended the episode in the post game. You cannot have Pharaoh Brown and Julian Hill on the same roster. Chris Greer, you listened to me for once. Why didn't you listen to me a lot earlier? All right. Here's the interesting. I think 3 guys are locks, right? I think as of right now, again, another position they could be looking at here in the waiver wire and cuts. Waller, Hill, Connor, I think make it. I think that cut. But what's interesting, I was watching the last game. Hayden Rucci, maybe part of the reason Brown's gone because they like Rucci as a blocker. Do they keep 4? Jason, how do you feel about that?
I had 3, but there is very much of an intriguing question right now. With Pharaoh Brown out, is Tanner Connor the lock, or is Hayden Rucci the better blocking option? So they could go 4, but Rucci, I mean, you could have him as an inline blocker. He could line up almost like an F, like almost like a fullback type. You can formation adjuster, if you will. So I like the kid, but if gun to head and I have to look at other positions, 3 is probably the safer bet. And Tanner Connor has just been hanging around this team, having great summers, training camps, even some preseason games. But is it the time where he makes it to the roster and actually really does something on the field in the regular season? So we could put 3 right now, but then we could revisit. And I would say Tanner Connor is slightly above Hayden Rucci at the moment.
Yeah, we'll put 3.
Slightly.
We'll put 3. You agree with that, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, 3 seems to be the safest there. Love Rucci, would
practice squad
be
guy.
thrilled for him to be on the 53, but I think there's a decent chance that he makes it to the practice squads, and they think they probably are aware of that.
Again, with Jason's favorite word, the gymnastics, he's a guy they could cut, and then they IR some guys later in the week. He's one guy you circle back and bring back. He's one of the guys. I mean, there's a lot of things. The final 53 on Tuesday at 4 p.m., there's going to be 4 or 5 changes. So I think we'll go 3 at that number right now, Jason.
That works for right now.
Okay, offensive line. This is one position I really hope that they're going to be scouring to find help at depth-wise. All right, so we said Andrew Meyer is going to be one of our IR spots?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So Andrew Meyer, that affects what I do here. You see the 5 on the left and the left side, even the 6. Those are 6 locks. Andrew Meyer will be a 7th, but he's on the IR. He's going to take one of those 2 spots. Liam Eichenberg, does not have to come off the PUP and count as a roster spot. He can stay on there. Correct, Jason?
Right.
Okay, so Eichenberg's doesn't count as a 53. You have him on the PUP. He's a separate entity. I would say those 6 on the left side are locks. Some people say they're keeping 8. I think they got to keep 9. Give me the number first, Jacob and Jason. How many do you want them to keep? 8 or 9? Just
Go ahead,
quick
Jason.
answer.
I had 8 on yesterday's Dolphins Wire projection. I was just about to say Beach. Josh Preby is my guess offensively for the undrafted free agent who could sneak through. He could be an interior depth piece, especially with Liam PUP'd. They have a horrible depth issue. And with Larry Borum being, I guess, the de facto swing tackle at the moment, for better or for worse, you got to look at who else is a near lock. I don't think it's Ryan Hayes. I don't necessarily think it's Keon Smith. And Daniel Brunskill is a veteran who, if they decide to go youth, I think the number could be 8. I like Braden Daniels maybe sneaking through. But right now I have 8. And that could also be meaning that they could bring someone off the scrap heap when other teams make their cuts, whether it's a tackle or another. But they need a tackle. They need to find a swing tackle. Let's go 8 is my number right now.
Jacob.
I think we go 9, partially because of the depth concerns. It's we've got Borum as, like you said, the de facto swing tackle, but obviously there was some, it left a little bit to be desired. So I think they have 9, but I don't think that the 8, or excuse me, the 9th is currently on the team. I expect them to bring in one more. And hopefully, he kind of pushes the ideal is that name comes in as a quality depth piece, and he kind of pushes some of those other names down the depth chart a little bit. So we don't necessarily have to rely on, some of our other depth that hasn't been doing so well.
So so you said, I'll let you guys go first. You said, who are the guys, Jason? If I said we're going to keep 9, which guys are you keeping?
Patrick Paul, Jonah, Aaron Brewer, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, Larry Borum. I mean, if for argument's sake, on my list, I have Braden Daniels and Josh Preby, and then Jacob, you make an excellent point. That 9th could be brought in after the scrap heap dust settles. Did Keon Smith do enough? I don't know, but I think you could slide him through to the practice squad as well as Ryan Hayes.
Yeah, I just realized, as Daniel said, where is Braden Daniels? I had him on the list for some reason. I did a version. He's not on there, but don't worry, he's going to be on there magically in a second here. Braden Daniels. All right, so let me put him on now. All right, he's on there. So Daniel, he's on there. My bad. I'm sometimes I make mistakes. All right.
That was a quick fix.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
That was impressive.
On the audible right there.
Hey,
66, get in there.
Thank you. Hey, in chat, thank you so much for spotting that. I love that. All right. Here's what I did. I went and watched. I told Jason today, I'm doing some O-line work here on all 22. Keon Smith did have a better game. He hasn't been good all camp. Was better last game. Braden Daniels wasn't as good as he was in the previous 2, but still, there's things I saw that I like, especially in the running game. Brunskill is out for me. Out. What do we do?
Agree.
The thing with Brunskill is everybody, he had a great PFF year last year, his grades, different offense. Are we going on last year, or what we've seen our eyes that tell us on this offense? He gets beat with strength constantly. Just looks like an aging, declining player. Not quick enough on the second level. I don't see much there. And I'm not going to go just because he's a name. I think if Andrew Meyer is definitely on the IR, they're going to need to find a center. Because if Andrew Meyer we didn't put him on the IR, Brunskill's gone. But Brunskill's not on my 53.
Likewise.
Keon Smith, however, Jason, the only reason I put him on is if who the heck can play left tackle on this list besides Patrick Paul? Nobody. Borum's is the backup right tackle. So I'm putting Keon Smith. Braden Daniels has done enough. And I'm going Josh Preby. Do I think it happens? No. But I've seen enough. He was really good the week before. And this week he had a really nice block. Really nice block when they were backed up in the end zone when Aaron Shampton had that 14-yard run. He still has some – you see him still make some mistakes, some simple mental mistakes. But he's tough. He's tenacious. He's smart. I like him. Do I think he'll get through on 53? Yes. But you know what? Everybody else is not going to have him on there. Let's have a little fun. So let's go with the 6 guys on the left side. Paul, Savinea, Brewer, Daniels, Jackson, Borum, Andrew Meyer, and on the IR, Eichenberg on the PUP. And our bat reserves are Keon Smith, Preby, and Daniels for right now. We're going to put 8 for right now. Are you guys okay with that?
Well, that would be 9. If we're going to put Smith on with Preby and Daniels, that would be 9.
Yeah, 9. We're going to go those 9. Sorry.
Yeah.
Those 9. George, you high tech. I don't know what that means, but shout out to the dive bar during the house.
Dive bar.
All right, so we're gonna put 9. We can play with it at the end if we want to, but we're gonna start with 9. We're gonna go 9 here.
I'm using a pencil this time. I use
a pen. Yes.
So
again, guys, we're gonna go. We do it here live. We're debating live. We're gonna go back over everything. Jason's gonna tally up the number, and then we're gonna kind of put in. Okay, we have 2 spots left. What are we fighting for? This one's easy. First 5 guys, right? Anybody, Jacob? Any complaints?
Nope. I think all 5 of those guys make it. That's exactly who I figure. I think this draft class is really special, and I think there's a decent chance everybody ends up on the roster, not cut. Obviously, we've got some injuries, some folks going to the IR, but yeah, I see those five making it. You know, depending on how and who you're able to get, I could see them, you know, maybe going with the 6th and Dickerson or Butler. But I think your 5 right there is really strong. And then you try and figure out what the heck you're going to do with the edge group.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Jason, 5, right?
Love the first 5. There could be a reason to push for Matt Dickerson, the veteran who's been kind of a journeyman, second year kind of with the Dolphins. And a guy like Matt Butler could maybe squeeze through back to the practice squad. But if you're really looking for one last cut or one last, you know, position group to take someone off, because you might need another lineman, you might need another tight end, what have you, Dickerson might be the guy. I can call him guy 54 or 55 right now. But I absolutely love Biggers and Phillips to join Grant. What a draft class. This is a mindset, ideological draft. And building the trenches is huge. So I think that all 3 of those guys are going to be actually significant snap getters this year. And Biggers, I think, can make some noise on special teams. So that's another intangible. Who can play special teams?
I'm glad you guys brought this up. You know, they clearly want to go younger this year. You're seeing that with some of these cuts. And this draft class, just you look down the list of the Jason Marshall Jr. we're going to talk about coming into nickel starting. Here's what gives me hope. Regardless of how this season turns out, regardless if there's a turnover in coaching, this draft class sets them up, if it's for this regime or next one, really well. Okay? This is the kind of draft you have when there's 4, 5, 6 contributors that year one build your core of your team. Regardless of what happens, I don't know if you guys agree, the next GM, the next coach, or this coach and this GM are set up well with this draft class in the future. You guys agree with that, right?
Not only that, go ahead, Jacob.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a great setup, and we have a decent amount of picks coming into next year too. We've managed to get who we have by not getting rid of a lot of picks.
Right.
And I understand there's been some rumored trades that took place with other teams in trade of picks, but I think administration holds on to those picks.
Yeah. Keep the picks. They should have done this when they started the rebuild in 19. They all of a sudden changed plans, and whoever was in charge of this draft, we never know who really has the final say. Let them have it again next year. I don't know if it was Greer, and Daniel said, I will give Greer credit. This draft, love it. I loved it after. I love it now even more. And I've been a big critic of Chris Greer. I'm the first one. When I'm wrong about something or somebody does good, I hold my hands up. I still feel the same way I feel about Greer because I just think he doesn't know how to construct a championship roster. I just think he doesn't have the capabilities. But this draft was really good, and I have to give my hat to my cat. Breaking news: Judon is switching to 91. Butler cut. Okay, we can get rid of Matthew Butler. He wasn't on our roster anyways. Thank you, Elwood.
Shout out Elwood.
Yeah, shout out to everybody watching. We got 130 people on all platforms. Guys, come on over. Join us in the chat. Give us that thumbs up. Hit that bell. Come on over. Come on over to YouTube with us. Hang out. All right. So 5 is the number here, Jason, for right now.
At this moment, let's go with the 5 locks.
All right. We've broken up in 2 groups, edge and inside linebacker. This is tough. I think this is the one I struggle with the most. So Phillips, Chubb, Robinson, Judon, lock them up. They're locks. Those 4. How many do you want to keep, Jason Sarni?
From the edge, so we're not lumping all of them together as linebackers.
No,
we're just doing the edge right now.
Yeah, we'll just do the edge guys.
Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Matt Judon, and then I got Derek McClendon and Grayson Murphy.
Okay.
But locks, if you want to talk about locks, it's the first. It would be the first 4. Derek, the first 4 for sure.
Okay, before I get to you, Jacob, here's where it gets interesting here. I probably want to keep 6. They're in 2 different groups. Murphy and McClendon are the young pass rush upside guys who've had standout camps. Bell and Good are special teamers. Special team coach is going to win on some of these situations. So is it you take one from the young pass rush group and one from the special team group? Or do you go really young with Murphy and McClendon? That's the tough scenario here. Chad, I'm real curious. I'm real curious for the chat's opinion on this. Jacob, your thoughts here on the edge group.
The 5 that Jason said, except instead of Murphy, I go McClendon. I think McClendon gets himself into that 6th spot. However, you can.
Well, we had the 4. We had the 4 locks of JP, Chubb, Chop, and Judon.
Let's leave it at those 4, and let's come back, and we'll have to, depending on what we do we need more special teams? Do we more this area? Because somebody mentioned Tyndall, did he get cut? We're going to the middle line. He's another interesting one.
He's a middle guy.
I'll tell you what. I got to admit, I went back. He played a lot better than I originally thought on tape. He was all over the ball. And he's a Greer draft pick. And Asante's injury might have helped him. All right, let's stick with those 4. Let's go back now to the middle linebackers, the inside linebackers. Brooks, Dotson, Gay, Britt, are they locks for you guys, Jason?
Brooks, Gay, Dotson, absolutely locks of locks. And they made an investment in Britt. He's got a veteran aspect to him, so he's as close to a lock as there can be. But the 3 locks are Brooks, Gay, and Dotson.
With Tyndall being the one, again, special teams. Those 3 guys, Good, Bell, Tyndall, special teams. All 3 are not. Could all 3 make it because of that? Does Coach Ackerman, say, hey, I need these guys? And can we get McClendon Good on our practice squad? McClendon and Murphy on the practice squad? So that's interesting. So we'll go with those 4 for now. Jonathan KJ.
Texas Jonathan.
Quinn is there Jonathan, is there a University of Texas player you don't like? That's the real question. Okay. Corners. All right, so this is interesting. Was our two IRs? Who are our two IR guys? Meyer and
Ashton Davis.
Ashton Davis. Okay, so Ethan Bonner has to make our initial 53. He's one. Probably gets put on the IR later on after he makes the cut. Guys, I think Cam Smith's made the roster.
I do too now.
We also, it's like somebody died. We all just went silent.
Moment of silence here.
A moment of silence. I got to say, he played well last game.
Does he put it all together? Does he finally put it all together?
I've been hard on him. All right, so Duck, Sheffield, is he a lock?
He's not a lock, but he's very close.
I mean, if you told me tomorrow they cut Kendall Sheffield, I would not be surprised.
I have him on.
Yeah,
I think he sneaks on, but I don't know if you want to call him a lock just yet if we're putting Cam Smith on and Ethan Bonner as initially and then IR.
Jacob, what are you thinking here?
As much as I think you're right that Cam Smith is on there, I don't have him actually making the roster for mine. I like Duck, obviously Bonner, Jack Jones, and I think that Cornell Armstrong seems to have some love, and I think there's a decent chance that he kind of makes a spot. But Jason Marshall Jr. obviously making it, right?
No, so. Yeah, he's the
for sure.
Yeah, he's the reason Hilton's got. He is the starting nickel. Yeah, right. No, zero chance. Yeah, he's in. So I would go. I'd go Duck, Sheffield, Jones, Smith, Marshall Jr., and Bonner. I go 6. The young guys, we can get these last 3 guys. 2 of them we can get on the practice squad. I'm pretty confident about that.
If we went 6, I would go between Isaiah Johnson or Cam Smith. You flip a coin. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I think Cam. It's got to translate into the regular season. It really has to, but I think he has done just enough, and the cutting of Mike Hilton opens up the door for him.
So we'll do 6?
Let's do 6.
6. Okay. 6. You jotted down again. Jason's our tracker here.
I'll be the scribe here.
Because I can't do it. I got a weakness. It's that I cannot figure it out. Shout out everybody to watching. Shout out the chat. Come join us here on YouTube, guys. Make sure you guys give us a like. Give us if you like what you're watching. There's a little bell there. You push it, hit it, and subscribe. And you get notified every time we go live. We got Jacob, who's making his debut on it. Welcome to the team, Jacob. We got Jason Sarney, of course, and myself. We're doing a live debate of the 53-man roster, which tomorrow, 4 p.m., is the deadline. Okay. Safeties. Give it up. Isaiah Johnson's good. Yeah, he's a practice squad guy. I like Isaiah.
Yeah.
All right. So, safeties. Davis or IR. So, Davis is going on the IR, right? So, Fitzpatrick, Melifanu, Campbell, Trader, locks.
Those 4.
I'm keeping those 4 right now with Davis on the IR.
Correct.
I agree.
Jacob, any pushback there?
I agree. They seem to like Mick Morris. I could conceivably, if they went, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys agree or disagree. They drop 1 cornerback, pick up a 5th safety, and roll 5 quarterbacks, 5 safeties. I don't think it would be in completely out of the realm of possibility in Weaver's scheme. Especially when you have somebody like Minka, who's
let's say a Cam Smith.
Honestly, a DB.
So somebody like Cam Smith, you would cut, maybe keep a Patrick McMorris or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love McMorris, so that's a debate we can have. You guys know I love John Sanders. I'm a big. If we don't keep him, please, nobody else pick him up. I want him on the practice squad. I just see something in this kid. I really like him. All right, so we'll do 4. Is that right now with Davis on the IR?
For the locks, yeah.
And then the 3 guys, Sanders, player X will replace him. There will be a kicker. Maybe Jason Sarney. We don't know yet. There's rumors out there.
I stand corrected. This is the simplest, most straightforward roster.
He's hurt. There will be another,
Right.
kicker blank inserted. The 3 will make it, and later on, they'll probably later in the week cut IR cut. I almost said it. IR Jason, and with the whole roster gymnastics and bringing another kicker. All right, Jason, catch us up. Let's go back to the beginning. Where do we stand on our numbers?
We're at 49 right now. We're at 49 now.
4 spots.
That's 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 9 offensive linemen, 6 defensive linemen, 4 edge rushers, 3 middle linebackers, 6 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, and 3 specialists.
All right. So now's the time. Chat, you get involved. And Jason and Jacob and I, it's your time to bang the table. These 4 spots. All right. I think we got to start a receiver. I think quarterback, we're fine. Running back, we're fine. What was our receiver? How many we have a receiver?
5 right now.
5. Are we keeping 6? Jason Sarney.
Yes, we are, and I'm going to put D on there. That's
Jacob.
Unless anybody convinces otherwise.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Yep. I think, the Taj Eskridge debate was right there, and there's a reason. I think Eskridge makes it as the 6th. And I think Azukama gets cut.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we start to see some of those, later draft picks, those earlier draft picks in earlier years, start to come off the roster. We've had some really, really strong young UDFA stand up, and obviously incumbents in Taj Washington, which is kind of like his first year, considering his last year he was on IR the whole year. So I think Taj, and that's why I put him as a 5. I think he's a lock. I think McDaniel and company really, really like him and want to see what he can do in year 2 in the system. And I think he proved it that he has a chair in the room during training camp and preseason.
Agreed. I think let's do those 6. I think Taj came on so strong. Don't know if he makes it through. And if they do, I'll say this might surprise the people. If they do cut one, I think it's Eskridge. He didn't have a great game. I'll put it to you that way. But the question is who returns. There would have to be Malik probably. So I don't know how comfortable I am with Malik because Malik has really come on. All right, so that puts us at 50, right?
We are at 50.
So we got 3 spots. Hayden Rucci, did he do enough to make this team? That's an interesting one. This one's interesting because I could see them convincing themselves his blocking ability might be the best blocking tight end on this team, right? Him and Julian Hill. Do you have to have Julian Hill and Hayden Rucci? Jacob.
I was gonna say, do you see a Waller Hill Rucci room? And Connor goes? I don't know. I it's probably gonna be those 3. And as much as I love Gucci Rucci, exactly, Jonathan. I think they're gonna. I think they're actually gonna keep 4 inside linebackers, and this is one of those rooms where I think you see a little bit less, where Rucci gets a cut, so you can keep the 4 of Brooks, Dotson, Gay, and Britt.
So you're going with the top 3 guys, Connor, Hill, and Waller.
Yeah.
Jason.
Indeed.
And this is where it would be a fun scenario to see position coaches.
Listen, this is a scenario where this exact scenario, they probably rack their brain for hours and days and weeks in that room.
Because now remember, what we also could do, if you add a 4th tight end, right? You could say, can we slide someone off of the offensive line and go with 8 for the moment? Right. So now we could be net neutraling. You know what I mean? So we have 3 spots left, but if we decide to add 4, we could bump someone down. So my thing is the Darren Waller iffiness if he could play a full season, leads me to believe that Tanner Conner is going to be that other receiving threat tight end. But what if Julian Hill gets hurt? What if there's a problem there? So I'm intrigued to add Hayden Rucci on our 53 right now.
I'm not there yet. I'm intrigued by it. I got it.
He could be the last guy.
Yeah, last guy. He's
so
there.
why don't we leave that empty
three.
right now?
I could see him being like the 53rd.
This is my favorite part, by the way. When we're done and we have like 3 spots left, this is kind of like my favorite. This is why I like doing it. Like, I don't talk to Jason before this. We don't sit there and say, here no. We go, and Jacob, you're a testament to that. We didn't speak about it. We go live, and then we do it like how the Dolphins got to sit in their room. We're all general managers, and we got to figure this out. And nobody's going to be 100% right, by the way. All right. So, offensive line, remind us who we have on, Jason.
There's 9. Patrick Paul, Jonah, Brewer, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, Borum, Daniels, Preby, Smith at this moment.
Meyer on the IR.
Meyer on the IR. Very important. Meyer on the IR.
That's very important.
He comes out. Keon Smith goes down to practice squad, you could say.
Yeah. All right. So our backups are Borum, Smith, Preby, Daniels.
Borum, Smith, Preby, Daniels. Correct.
All right. Do we want to go 8? Somebody make a case for 8. Sell me on it.
Rucci. I mean, that was the case. You
want Rucci and one of these guys
off.
Right. Talking most realistic to get cut would probably be Keon or Prebe, because either one of those you could likely get back onto the practice squad. But I could see them wanting to keep Rucci.
You know what the problem is on this list is that it's just a bunch of like who's the worst of the lesser evil on this list.
Yeah.
They just need depth. Like, I just think 2 of these names could be changed at the end. You know, Jonathan makes a point about Brunskill. Even though I don't like what I've seen, who else is going to play center with Meyer on the IR?
Right.
That's the question.
I was actually going to make a debate for Brunskill being on there.
I like Preby, but can we get Preby on the practice squad?
Right.
I want to sell myself on him just for fun.
If we're reaching, reaching,
here we go, Jason. Go
for
it.
Do that. James Daniels has center experience in his life, so in a pinch, if Brewer is banged up, you move Daniels to center, and either Daniels, Braden, or Preby up to play that guard spot. The Dolphins do that and have done that with cross training.
The one I'm actually the most certain about that needs to be on there is probably Keon Smith, because left tackle. Jason, there's nobody. Borum is not a left tackle. That's why. Do they need to upgrade that backup left tackle? Yes, but if we're just going on what we see now, I almost think Keon Smith has to make it. Or Ryan Hayes. If this is just they have no backup left tackle, and even Ryan Hayes played a lot of right tackle in preseason. Borum looks like the backup right side guy. I'm going to stick with Keon Smith.
Man, Jacob, are we sticking with 9? Are we staying with 9 here? Or?
It's tough. Chad,
yeah. So this is my 9. I have Paul Avenaya, Brewer, Daniels, Jackson, and then I have Borum, obviously Meyer, Brunskill, Daniels, and Keon Smith as the backups. There.
Well, Meyer's on the IR. He doesn't count.
Right.
But you're saying that's the 9. We keep 8 active.
Right. Or you end up cutting a Keon and bringing in somebody new. But I think you're right. I think Keon stays. There's familiarity,
positional value.
Right, exactly, and especially in this scheme, I know he hasn't shown a whole lot, but I feel like there's a lot of chips in his basket as far as being the guy to step up and be that left tackle should he need to. So my question would be, where would you guys rank that need of addition, running back or offensive line? Which one do you think is going to be a higher priority for the team?
Well, yeah, I think running back. What they'll do is they'll swing back that later in the week. Somebody they put on their practice squad. I think the bigger priority is the depth on the offensive line, especially the left tackle position.
Right.
I'm gonna go. Look, I'm gonna say let's keep 8 with Meyer on the IR. If we're gonna keep 8, everybody prioritize their 3. Jason, your top 3 prioritized.
You guys make really good, intriguing points about Smith. So to say Smith and Borum, and then I would have to probably put Braden Daniels above Josh Prevey if I'm forced to, knowing that he could be back on the practice squad. If we do this,
yeah, oh boy,
we could add Rucci to the tight end room, because if we're going to 8, that could make sense. So I think that also, you add another blocking tight end if you take away a blocker.
Well, here's the other thing. It's just they have to upgrade here. Well, as we're doing this exercise, the depth on the offense, they're just not good enough. Some of these guys are not NFL players right now, and we're talking about it. So I think that's what makes it hard. Shout out to William. Shout out to the chat. We got almost 170 people on all platforms. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Pull up a seat.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. Pull up a seat, man. We're at 50 of the 53 players done. We're swinging back around to try to add the last guys on our roster. We're debating here. I appreciate all the support, guys. All right. I'm going to go. The 5 starters, Borum, Keon Smith, and I think I talked myself out preview on I think we can get him on the practice squad. We almost have to keep Brunskill just because the center position. That's the tough part I'm having. Because ideally, I would like Borum, Smith, Braden Daniels. Those would be my 3.
And then Liam just stays stashed on the pup.
Yeah,
right. Is that he's just there in the back pocket. All right.
We got months. We got like 9-10 weeks until maybe seeing him. Maybe 8 weeks.
Yeah, he's stashed. Andrew Meyer's not on the field. If Andrew Meyer was healthy, this would be so easy.
Correct.
That's what makes it hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope these are not the 8-9 guys, the depth wise that we have. I hope it changes. All right, so we gotta wrap it and make a final decision here.
Are we putting Brunskill on, folks?
8 or 9 with Brunskill on. We're gonna vote. Jacob Lehman, the newbie. 8 or 9.
Let's do 8 with Meyer there, and so that makes the 3.
Smith, Brunskill, Borum.
Yeah, Brunskill, Smith, Borum.
So we're taking Daniels off. We're putting Brunskill on.
Ooh. This is where it gets tough.
This is where it gets tough, folks. This is.
Patient.
I think Braden Daniels would probably make it over Brunskill, but
This is a youth movement.
yeah.
I'm going. You know what? I'm going with my gut. No more of this. Borum, Daniels, Keon Smith is the backup, with Brunskill and Prevey on the practice squad. Brunskill out the door.
Brunskill's no practice. He's gone.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah.
Jason, and I don't know what we're doing about center. Hopefully it comes, but I'm going with my gut.
So
I don't like what I've seen out of Brunskill.
We've earned another roster spot, and we're back down to 49. So are we adding?
You got to break the tie here. Are you going with 9 or 8?
I'm going to stick with the 8
All
that
right.
I projected, but we are putting Smith
49.
on and bringing Prevey down.
All
So
right.
we had 8. So we're back down
49.
to 49.
I don't want to add any of these D tackles. I know what we're going to add here. Now, how many do we have here?
We're at 5 defensive linemen.
No, I'm saying edge.
On the edge. I'm sorry. We're on the edge. We're on Jalen Phillips, Chubb, Chop, Judon. So really, there's room for 1 or 2 more.
We're going to add 2 here.
I think
this
so.
is where we're going to add 2. Here's the question. Do you want the young pass rushers, McClendon and Murphy, or do you want the guys who contribute on special teams, Bell or Good?
Now Murphy could play special teams too. I'm sure.
Yes, but Bell and I think are good or are much better at it.
I'm going the youth movement here.
You're going with the young kids.
I'm going with the young kids here.
Jacob, give me the 2.
I like McClendon and I like Bell. I think those are the 2 McClendon's young. He showed, and do you think that there's a chance we go 7 and keep the trio of Mercy, Bell, McClendon on top of those stout 4?
So good is that, but I'm just telling you, I get this sneaky thing about Good because his special he's a really good. I mean, he's really good. That's the problem. This is a tough spot. This edge. These last 2 things we've been debating, I could go back and forth. All right, so you're going McClendon and Murphy. You're going Young, Jason.
Well, I think McClendon and Jacob agrees. I think he's on. So if there's
on. You guys agree with that? Not on. Even if I don't agree, you guys override me on that. I agree with you. We're
going to make him number 5.
McClendon's on 5.
So we're back at 50.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't like what I see with Quinn Bell. Shocking cut. He's gone. And then you know what, Jason? We can clip your post-game comment, and that'd be even better, right?
I mean, look, you never root for it, but if I'm looking on what the Dolphins' theme is and it's going younger and giving other guys a chance, and while Murphy, who was injured, reserved last year in his undrafted rookie year, maybe he sneaks through the practice squad, maybe someone takes a flyer on him. So I like him on as well.
So we're down to Good. We're cutting Quentin Bell. And as Lou said, is that your final answer? I love a good live debate, guys. I love it. This is why we're doing it.
So with McClendon, we have 50. If we add another one.
Right, we need to add another one here. Good or Murphy? That's right.
My vote Murphy.
I'll go first. Grayson Murphy didn't play till the very end of the game in the 4th quarter, by the way. After they got a good hard look at Good and McClendon. They didn't play, and they played Bell at the end of the game too. After those guys, does that mean anything? I don't know. Do they want to get a look at those other guys? I mean, those are just after you follow this for a while, you kind of you read the signs of what could be give a tell sign that they are actually where they're leaning. All right, I'll go first. So to break the tie between Good and Murphy. Do we need that many pass rushers? We have Chubb, Phillips, Robinson, Judon.
If you go back to an Anthony Weaver quote, you can't have too many of these guys.
I'm gonna go Cameron Good. You break the tie, Jacob Lehman.
I'm gonna agree with you on Good there. Right. I think that's another guy who's one of those little gems that they like, and we're really hoping to see more from. And I think he showed it in this season, or this preseason. Who was it that got the block punts?
When last year?
No, just in this last the was it against the Lions that we had?
You know what?
The block punt.
Breaking news! I changed my mind. Jason Sarney, we're going Grayson Murphy.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, Jake.
Someone's dancing on the table.
That's okay.
You know what? I'm going back with the youth movement. We might be wrong. We're going back with
again, you look for who could play 2 areas. Like Good is just a special teamer. But if you read into what Weaver is saying, you can't have too many pass rushers, and he's been doing that well.
Yeah.
Grayson Murphy could also play special teams and sniff out a ball.
That's a good point, especially for these guys.
You know why it changed?
2 phases.
You know why it changed? Because this is, breaking news. Kenny Pickett traded to the Las Vegas Raiders for a 5th-round pick.
So the dream of trading Zach Wilson, it's not going to happen. But I know a lot of people
because we know who you want there. Calvin Gordon got released. So you know what I just thought of why it changed? Because I initially had Grayson Murphy on, but I got caught up in the whole special teams thing. I'm going with the guys I want, who I want on my 53.
There you go.
How I do my draft board, I didn't do it here. Because what I think's going to happen or what I want are 2 different things, right? But we're going to go for it. Sorry, Jacob. I had to switch up at the last minute.
That's all right. That's all right.
But honestly, I could see a scenario where they're all mixed up and those names switch. It wouldn't surprise me either way. All right. Linebackers.
So we have 6 here, right? And that
we have 6.
We have 6 on the edge. Yep.
That's right. Okay.
So question quickly is
another thing, just really quick. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, and I hate saying this, and please don't boo me. You got injury risks. You got injury risks on this.
For the Dolphins.
Well, you got 30 some odd % of this room is coming off of severe injuries. So I can't have too many pass rushers, especially when that's the strength. Really,
and there is a youth movement going on.
Yes, sir.
I think we circle back to that edge room, and I mean, do you think we get 7 on there? Did I ask that before?
Yeah.
Well, we got 51 now, and the secondary.
And we have a question here. Shannon Tindo, we're lacking special teams right now. We're lacking special teams players. He's one of them. He had a good camp. He had a good last camp. Chat, would you want Shannon Tindo a part of this 53? Any of you make a case for Shannon Tindo here, or no?
I've seen enough. I can't because he just hasn't translated it fully in his 3 years.
Jacob?
I think Tyndall has the potential, but I think the numbers game is against him here.
Okay.
You've got Brooks, Dotson, Gay, Britt. I don't see how those guys don't make the team, and I think that's your 4. And because of that, I could definitely see, Murphy and McClendon in there as the 5th and 6th edge rushers because of their special teams prowess as well. And maybe that's where Cam Good gets his spot over Tyndall. But this is definitely one of those. I could see him making it, but personally, I think Tyndall's on the out. But then again, I also think Cam Smith is the out. So we'll
Jason,
see.
Jason, no way we can keep 7 and 4 11 guys, right?
I don't. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, I was prepared to give 9 before the Judon signing.
But does Ackerman, the special team coach, say I need these separate guys? And almost doesn't count in that. Now, okay. Well, so long, Tindo. Tindo's gone. All right, we made that decision. Where are we at?
What about 51? Britt? We're at 51, and
we'll keep Britt.
Britt's in. So that's
he's like
52.
I'll give you 2 surprising. Britt and Sheffield could be 2 veterans that you've shocked that are cut. I'm not saying the percentages are high, but it just wouldn't be a shocker. All right, so how many corners do we have?
6.
I think the corner room is
fine. We got 1 spot left. We got 1 spot left, ladies and gentlemen.
Johnson, Adams, Armstrong, 2 of those 3 guys will be on the practice squad. Right? I'm pretty happy with that. I think those 6. Duck, Sheffield, Jones, Smith, Marshall Jr., Ethan Bonner, who will eventually be IR, and you'll be able to replace him later on down the line, but he's got to initially make the 53. I'm fine with that. All right.
We are actually set with the 53 with the adding of McClendon and Murphy and Britt, keeping Sheffield, those 4 safeties, which does not include Ashton Davis, who is on the IR. We did not put Hayden Rucci on. And we have 8 linemen offensively.
Okay.
And we took Dickerson off the defensive line.
All right. So can you read the list, starting with the quarterbacks?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to read the list. Jacob, do me a favor. Just count it out while I read the names just so we can double check here.
All right, stand by here. Let me get my paper.
We have, starting with the quarterbacks, we have Tua, Wilson, Ewers, running backs, Achane, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, Alec Ingold. Wide receivers, Tyreek, Waddle, Malik Washington, NWI, Taj Washington, and D. Eskridge. Tight ends, Waller, Hill, Connor. Offensive line, Patrick Paul, Jonah, Aaron Brewer, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, Larry Borum, Braden Daniels, Keon Smith. Defensive line, Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers. On the edge, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Matt Judon, McClendon, and Murphy. Interior linebackers, Jordan Brooks, Willie Gay, Tyrell Dotson, and KJ Britt. Cornerbacks, Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Jason Marshall, Cam Smith, Ethan Bonner, Kendall Sheffield. Safety, Minka, Elijah Campbell, Elefanu, Dante Trader Jr. Specialists, Sanders, Bailey, Cardona. By my count, that is 53.
All I hope you guys counted because I did not. I was doing the slide.
Let me get the calculator out here.
All right, Jason. So while we're doing that, while he's doing that, Jason, why Cam Smith? They asked that. Well, because I think the Bonner injury opens up a spot for Cam, and I don't think they're quite ready to get rid of him. And he's come on strong the last week or two of camp, and he was a second-round pick. Greer doesn't cut his guys; he's very stubborn, and I think they want to give him one last shot. Like, he's not a lock, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he.
I missed one, and I think it might have been a defensive tackle. I ended up with 5 defensive tackles, 6 edges, 4 inside linebackers, 6 quarterbacks, 4 safeties, and that was.
Or are we at 52?
Oh, we got. I'm in the state of Florida. You guys aren't, so let's get the count.
So 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 8 offensive linemen.
Yep.
5 defensive tackles.
Yep.
6 edge / outside linebacker.
Yep.
4 inside linebacker.
Yep.
6 cornerbacks.
Yep.
4 safeties.
Yep.
And then the 3 specialists.
Yep.
Let me make sure I put it in right on the calculator here.
All right. What are we at?
None of us were math majors.
None of us.
None
Jason,
of us.
You get the last spot, Sonny.
I'm telling you, you all don't want that.
All right. So
what's it gonna be?
What's our final number? Are we at 52 or 53?
We're at 52. We have one more.
One spot left.
Okay.
I'm actually glad we made it. This makes it funner. So, who are the candidates?
I have the candidates.
All right, give us. I'm sure it's going to start right here.
It's Hayden Rucci.
1.
And then I'm bringing 2 undrafteds.
Oh.
Josh Preby.
Mm-hmm.
And ready for this? Bang that drum, George. Eugene Asante.
He's hurt, though.
Is it severe enough? Or
yeah, I think it is.
him?
I would go with that. I would bang with you on that. I just think he's hurt. All right, Jacob. I'm with Preby. I'm down with adding Preby on there. And Rucci. I'm down to that or McMorris at tight end. Or Colbert.
McMorris, thank you.
To me, it's Rucci, Colbert, McMorris at safety, Preby on the offensive line.
This is where I would make my argument for the 7th outside linebacker / edge position.
That's a lot, Jacob.
Indeed, but you need additional specialists, especially with Tyndall not being on there, and you've got injury concerns for several, and you can't have enough pass rushers, right?
We like the O-line room with any 8.
So, and my second argument was going to be for a 9th offensive lineman, which would be that person that we would be bringing in.
I think I'm leaning towards a 9th offensive lineman. I want Cam Good on this roster because I think it'll happen. But if I'm being honest, I'm leaning towards a ninth offensive lineman. I just don't think the 9th. You know what the problem is? I don't think the 9th offensive lineman is on this roster right now.
I agree. I don't think we see it on this list right here.
That's the problem that we're having. I think we're running into. But do we want to put 9 just so we're right on the 9? You know what I mean? We can do that. I like Jason's idea of Asante, but I just don't. I think the injury cost him. I hope he makes the team, but we'll don't worry, Jason. If he makes it, you will get the credit for that. All right, everybody, give a final answer.
I think the question really is now, who can get through the practice squad?
Yes, I think
Rucci could make it to the practice. Could he though?
I think Preby could make it.
I think Asante probably doesn't get signed because the injury, right?
You know, the 53 guys not on this team right now. This is the problem. This is what we're having. What about the safeties?
And shout out to all these guys. We're talking young men that are trying to
Absolutely.
make their dreams come true, and what a sobering reminder it could be for a lot of these young guys here. And
great point. Sometimes we dehumanize these guys.
We talk about this guy not being fast enough and all that, which is all fair and stuff to talk about here. But
this is one of the harder cut down rosters I've had in a while doing the Jason. Would you agree?
I've loved doing these for like 3 or 4 years. This is the most difficult one by a long shot.
Anybody you guys got for the last spot that we haven't made it on?
I think we're surprisingly decisive in the wide receiver room, but that one I think you could shake up several times and get a completely different.
I agree. I think you can shake up the offensive line depth room and get a different answer, and a guy not on this team. I think you can do it. I think edge. There are a bunch of kind of the same guys with kind of like overlap of young rushers, then young special teamers. We don't have Quentin Bell on the team. I thought he came in the last game and he had some bad reps just at the end of the game, completely taken out of plays. I mean, I just haven't seen much out of him. Could he make it because of special teams? Yeah, I think Theo Weiss. They're not going to keep 7, Jonathan. But all right, we got to go with our last spot. I'm going to go. Do you want me to start? I'll vote.
Yeah, you start.
I'm going to go Prevey. Jacob. Whoever you want.
I would want whatever that third edge rusher was. That or offensive or outside linebacker that we wouldn't decide.
You want Ken. Yeah. All right, Sonny. Either you break the tie or you go somebody else, and then we all agree on one of those 3 players and wrap this 53 up. If you guys don't think we really put a lot of effort into this and thought, you see it here. We don't take it lightly. Anything we do here. Shout out to almost 200 people, guys. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely appreciate everybody.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
All of it, man.
This is difficult, but when looking on who has a backup and who doesn't, Julian Hill does not have a backup. So I'm going to go with Hayden Rucci.
So I go Prevey.
Which probably had with.
I was going to say we're
all over the place.
And we're all wrong, and it's none of those 3.
Now imagine the guys getting paid big time money to figure this out too. This is where the time where Ackerman comes in and says, "Hey, I'm taking this guy. We're done talking about this."
Great point. Yeah. And Tyndall's in the mix too. All right.
Tyndall's only played 21 defensive snaps in 3 years.
You know what? Let's go. Let's get one of these 3. Jacob, are you sticking with Good or are you going with one of our guys?
I'm going to stick with Good.
Welcome aboard, Hayden Rucci of the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, there you go.
Hayden Rucci, you remember. Jason, take us home. Give us the list.
Before that,
okay.
Before taking us home, I'm gonna ask my position coaches with Jacob's input. Do we think that we could squeeze Grayson Murphy through the practice squad, and this way you could have your Cameron Good?
Also, my initial thought: are we going to switch?
Because if we're going to add Rucci to make it 53, and then the last 2 is either Cameron Good or Murphy, where one of them, because Murphy's already on. So are we going to move the name off the board and then make new special teams coach Craig Ackerman happy? Now, another thing, and I hate saying it, special teams coverage has not been very good the last couple of years. So do we want to just go with the guy who was on the special teams unit that wasn't very good? Or do we want to give some new blood? And that's my theme, folks, is new blood and youth.
I think you have a higher chance of Good clearing waivers than you do Murphy. And
say it again. Who do you say has a higher chance?
I think Murphy would be more likely to get plucked off of waivers rather than Good. I think Good has a better chance to come back to practice.
I actually think it's the opposite.
Yeah?
Because teams are in that last 48 to 53, I said this before, are looking for special teams guys. So, like, you could see New England or Tennessee or somebody like that picking up a Cameron Good because we know Cameron Good's a good NFL special teamer. We don't know if Grayson Murphy's a good pass rushing in game in season productive edge rusher yet. That'd be my debate on that. I switched back. Sorry, my mic was giving me problems. I switched back. You know, I had Good originally, and I went back to Murphy. So it seems like we should end the show on that debate, right?
Good night, everybody.
I've been on Murphy all season. I was on him last year.
Let's keep him.
I would hate to
Who
get
cares
off
if we're different? Chances are it's probably good, but who cares? For fun's sake, we'll put on. We're talking about 52, 53 guy. It's not a big deal, you know? All right, so let's just do that. So we add Rucci, and we keep and Good's off and Bell's off.
I'm fine with that because I do love Rucci.
Yeah, and I do think, but just saying, I do think one of Bell and Good, if not, could be on the roster more than likely not. But we're gonna go with the young guys to have a little fun.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Take us home, Jason. The final 53.
The final 53, as per us,
yeah,
and you guys in the chat and gals in the chat.
Thank you guys,
everybody. So as per this show, we have 3 quarterbacks: Tua, Wilson, Ewers, 4 running backs: Achane, Gordon, Wright, Ingold, 6 wide receivers: Hill, Waddle, Malik, NWI, Taj, D. We have now 4 tight ends: Darren Waller, Julian Hill, Tanner Connor, Hayden Rucci. We have 8 offensive linemen: Patrick Paul, Jonas Avayanaya, Aaron Brewer, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, Larry Bourne, Braden Daniels, Keon Smith. We have 5 defensive tackles: Zach Sealer, Kenneth Grant, Benito Jones, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers. We have 6 edge rushers: Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Matt Judon, Derek McClendon, Grayson Murphy. We have 4 inside linebackers in Brooks, Gay, Dotson, Britt. We have 6 cornerbacks in Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Jason Marshall, Cam Smith, Ethan Bonner, Kendall Sheffield. 4 safeties: Minka, Elijah, Iffy, and Trader Jr. And the 3 specialists: Jason Sanders, let's just call it X for now because someone else will be in that kicker spot the first month, Jake Bailey, and Joe Cardona to wrap it up.
All right, that's your 53. And we have the 2 IR spots, Meyer and Davis, correct?
Correct.
And that could change. Yeah, that could change. Again, things are going to change. It's not perfect, but we wanted to go with you guys here, have fun, kind of go through it live, and you saw us racking our brains, which, you know, are these last 2 or 3 spots. This was a tough cut, and I wouldn't be surprised if some things went the other way, but I will say this, especially in the offensive line and even tight end, running back room, corner room, you could see other names. I think a lot of the tough decisions, because some of these names, like especially in the offensive line room, I think some of these names will be, from other teams. So that was fun. Real quick, give me your top couple practice squad guys. Mine would be Weiss, John Sanders. For me, just 2. Jacob, you got a couple guys you like?
Yeah, if obviously Good. If he makes it off there, I think he would hopefully make it to waivers. And I'm with you on Weiss or Armstrong, the receiver, not the cornerback.
Yeah.
And of course, if Rucci didn't make it, I think he'd be.
Well,
I want to see him on there, but he's on ours, so
he might not make it. So he's one of your guys if he doesn't, right?
Yeah, and Weiss there, of course, as mentioned there. I'm trying to think of
the corners: Isaiah Johnson, B.J. Adams.
Thank you. Yes,
a couple, Ethan Robinson, a couple of those guys.
I think B.J. Adams, depending injury. But I think Isaiah Johnson gets back on the practice squad with us again. I think I had him on my
53?
on my own final 53. Yeah,
I like Isaiah. You're talking about?
Yeah, Isaiah Johnson. Yeah.
He's a guy they're going to keep developing. Jason.
I got 4 that I would love to see back on the practice squad. Preview is the top of. Eugene Asante.
Yes.
Weiss. And a wild card for the practice squad is Addison West, who could be that
Yeah,
center.
he actually had a decent game last game.
I was surprised that he was an early cut.
He played some center too.
Yeah.
I think he played center last game. So they don't have many centers, so he's one I could see.
That would be a key addition, and he could get cut when Meyer comes back, elevated. You know, that things could happen like that. But they're my 4 that I really like.
Yeah, we've almost an hour and a half. We didn't expect to go this long, but we love doing this live and this debate of the 53. We'll see tomorrow at 4 p.m. Should be a fun day. A lot of exciting news. It's a transaction day. We all love transactions. I want to thank Jacob for making his debut. Jacob, you fit in like a pro. It was great. Welcome to the team.
Thank you so much.
We'll see more of them, a lot of post game and the others.
Welcome.
Good job, and welcome to the team. And everybody in the chat, almost 200 people watching.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much. We really mean it for the support. And if you can, give this video a thumbs up, give it a subscribe so we can continue. We're working really hard behind the scenes to bring you guys the best possible content we can with the Miami Dolphins. So thank you guys for joining us. And tomorrow we wait for announcement. Tomorrow potentially we could have a special edition with somebody who I'm a big fan of his work. So we're waiting for final confirmation, but stay tuned tomorrow. So not only subscribe, but hit on the notifications because we could be having a very special guest on tomorrow. You right, Jason?
An OG in this business. Someone who's been doing it for a long time and does it better than many. And an author, a writer, a lot of excitement for tomorrow.
Yeah, somebody who I've looked up to in this business. So we'll leave it at that.
I hear you, FinSpin. I'll definitely work on that. Yeah, I gotta get something behind there.
I like the brick wall. It reminds me a little of New York City for whatever reason. I like
Richmond Webb uses the brick wall, man. You can use the brick.
If it's good enough for Richmond Webb, it should be good enough for me.
Well, right? Richmond was a brick wall.
We'll get you some Fitz Faithful stuff.
Right, it fits.
We got to get you guys some Fitz Faithful gear. I had delay on that. We made a hat shipment. There was a delay on it, so we're still working on it. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Chad. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, George. Really appreciate the opportunity to come on here with you guys and talk
Let's keep growing. Let's knock this out of the park and have a great Miami Dolphins season. Thank you guys so much. Everybody, fins up.
Fins up.
We are out.
Fins up, everybody.